How does a vehicle that was literally sketched in the sand with a stick end up becoming a global symbol of luxury? One that can command a price tag higher than some Ferraris? Well, that is the absolutely incredible story of Land Rover's transformation. Okay, just look at this contrast. It's wild. On one hand, you've got the 1948 Land Rover. It's a basic, no-frills workhorse born from postwar scarcity, basically cobbled together with whatever parts they could find. And on the other, the future, a custom-built luxury statement piece, where some special editions are selling for over £300,000. The journey from that to this, well, it's one of the most fascinating stories in the entire auto industry. So, where did it all begin? The story doesn't start in some fancy design studio or a corporate boardroom. Nope, it starts on a windy beach in Wales, where post-war desperation really did become the mother of invention. This right here, this was the simple but powerful idea from Maurice Wilks, who was Rover's chief designer at the time. See, he had an old American Willys Jeep he used on his farm, but it was always breaking down. He got so fed up, he literally sketched his own idea in the sand for his brother. A blueprint for a tough, go-anywhere vehicle that could solve a real problem for farmers all over Britain. And what's so amazing about the first Land Rover is that pretty much every feature was a product of its time. The body was aluminum. Why? Because steel was heavily rationed after the war. The paint was military surplus green. Why? Because it was the only color they could get in bulk. Even the doors and a heater were optional extras. This wasn't about style, it was about pure, unfiltered utility. So after that debut in 1948, things started moving, and fast. A huge turning point came in '51 when it was granted a Royal Warrant. Basically, the official seal of approval from the British royal family. That gave the brand instant, priceless credibility. But the real game changer? That came in 1970 with the Range Rover, a vehicle that pretty much single-handedly invented the entire luxury SUV category we know today. But, the path from a farm tool to a luxury cruiser was not a straight line, not at all. For about 4 decades, Land Rover was passed around from owner to owner, facing this constant chaos that honestly threatened to kill the brand entirely. I mean, just look at this timeline. It's a revolving door. British Leyland, British Aerospace, BMW, Ford. Every new owner came in with a different plan, a different strategy, and more uncertainty. It's kind of a miracle the brand even survived, let alone managed to keep innovating. And yet, they did innovate. Under all that pressure, they launched the Discovery to fight off the Japanese SUVs that were flooding the market. Then came the Freelander under BMW, which was a huge sales hit in the compact SUV space. And most importantly, during the Ford era, they developed the brilliant terrain response system, a piece of tech that automated off-roading and became a core part of the Land Rover identity. And that brings us to maybe the most important moment in the company's modern history. In 2008, right in the middle of a massive global financial crisis, Land Rover finally found the stability it had been missing for 40 years. India's Tata Motors stepped in and bought both Jaguar and Land Rover for $2.3 billion. And at the time, with the world's economy basically imploding, a lot of experts thought they were absolutely crazy. But here's the genius of the deal, and you have to hear this. Tata bought 2 iconic British brands for $400 million less than Ford had paid for just Land Rover by itself. They saw this incredible value where everybody else just saw risk. So how did they pull it off when so many others had failed? Well, it all came down to one powerful, simple strategy: autonomy. Ratan Tata gave them the money they needed, but he trusted the British team to run the show, which kept the brand's unique soul and identity intact. And, the results, they just speak for themselves. Under Tata's patient leadership, revenues exploded, going from around £5 billion to a record $29 billion. It is, without a doubt, one of the most successful turnarounds in automotive history. So with all this new stability, Land Rover was finally able to unleash its most ambitious plan ever, a deliberate focused strategy to redefine itself as a true player in the absolute highest tiers of the luxury market. They call it the Reimagine strategy, and the goal is pretty simple but bold. Elevate the brand beyond its old rivals like BMW and Mercedes and go head-to-head with the ultra-luxury names, think Bentley and Rolls-Royce, all while shifting to an electric-first future. This table really gives you a clear picture of the new battlefield. You've got the Defender carving out its own cool niche. You've got the classic Range Rover taking on the big German SUVs. And now you have the ultra-luxe SV bespoke models, directly targeting the likes of Bentley and Rolls-Royce. It's a whole new ballgame. And this isn't just talk. Not by a long shot. The company is backing this vision up with a massive £15 billion investment over 5 years. That's a serious commitment to winning in this new electric luxury. Okay, so what's next? Where does a brand like this go from here? Well, the road ahead is all about electrification, pushing even deeper into that ultra-luxury space, and facing a whole new set of challenges that come with it. The roadmap is crystal clear. The plan calls for 6 pure electric models by 2030, becoming a net zero carbon company by 2039, and all the while maintaining a relentless focus on the high profit margins that modern luxury demands. So what gives Land Rover the right to win in this space? It really comes down to these unique, what you might call unfair advantages. An authentic heritage that no one else can claim, the prestige of that Royal Warrant, unique tech like terrain response, iconic designs, and maybe the most important one, that dual identity. It's the only brand that looks equally at home at a black tie gala or on a dusty remote expedition. And all of this brings us to the final and most important question. The brand has masterfully navigated its past, but the future, that holds its biggest challenge yet. Can a company whose entire identity is tied to the sound of an engine and rugged mechanics, can it translate that same soul into a silent, software-driven world? The answer to that is going to define the next chapter of this incredible story.